Honey, can you? Okay, I think. Good. I don't have any participants. Oh, there's somebody.
Soaring eagle.
Hi there.
People showing up. Oh,
I've got one.
you're doing the right thing.
Hmm?
You're doing the right thing. They don't want to be on it.
Okay. Okay, I got Mark. Okay. Hey, Mark, can you tell me, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, you can find the right button.
No, you're good. It's getting a little late. I was getting kind of worried that people weren't able to log in or something. But okay, we're good.
I think I need to close Zoom if you want our camera on.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. It
Okay,
says I
good,
have to
David.
quit. It says I have to quit Zoom if you want the camera on. I don't know if you want.
Oh,
So I will have to quit and rejoin, I think.
okay, give it a shot.
Okay.
Ah, you got it. Hold on. Now you're on. Okay, so you guys, you're David and Ann.
Yes.
Okay, you guys are second up for business.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna put you down as an attendee until you come up and then I'll bring you back in.
Okay, great.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Where's Bob? Ah, Betsy.
Make sure I'm on time.
Everybody's a little late today, I think.
Oh, goody. I'm ahead. That's great.
So Gina, can you hear me? Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, you're up first, but while we do the roll call and everything, I'm going to put you over to attendant and then bring you back when you're up, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks. Hi, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I believe so. Am I coming through?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you're third on the list tonight. So I'm going to
Okay.
go over to be an attendee, and then when we come to your, we'll move you back in, okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Betsy?
Hey, Joan. Hey, Cindy. You look like you went skiing today.
Me?
Tomorrow. I'm sure you didn't ski today. It was pretty rugged out there.
No,
Not the
didn't.
best.
I didn't ski today.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You into the weather?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm under a grant deadline.
Oh, so even worse, right?
Yes, exactly. You know,
Yeah, I wish it was a cold.
yes, I'll take a stuffy nose, thank you.
Yeah.
But John and I ran into both Cora Lou and Cindy and Smokey yesterday at the slope. It
Oh, yeah.
was like a little party there.
Yeah. Well, you can't go anywhere without being, seen around here. So,
Just
That's
like living on an army base.
oh gosh.
It's true.
Except the houses don't all look the same, right?
Yeah, the houses do look all the same, pretty much.
I mean, not here.
Not here, though.
Not
thank
here.
goodness.
No. Let's see.
Marv,
Hi.
I'm gonna move you over to attendee until you're up, and then I'll put you back in, okay?
Okay, we did not see an agenda. How far down the agenda are we?
You're
You're
the
fourth.
last one.
You're last.
We'll have dinner.
Number 4, that's not that many.
Okay, thank you.
Well, yeah,
Relax.
relax for a while.
Okay, shall we go ahead and start? Looks like we have enough. Hey, Mark. You got no sound.
No,
Still no sound.
I'm here.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Joan Eaton,
Here.
John Platt, Cindy Neely,
here.
Steve Blakesley,
Here,
Mark Reynolds,
Here.
Bob Hamilton,
Here.
Brent Ganzer.
Okay.
What happened to Ganser?
No, I think he's been really busy at work and maybe just probably on his way home.
Home late, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Hmm.
can I get approval of the agenda tonight, please?
Couple of things.
Yes.
I think that we should put a report on the agenda about our field trip,
Okay.
that we did take it and et cetera, and who was there.
Okay.
And then I think we ought to also make mention of the Ox House because we tabled it last time.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, the make mention is gonna be real quick.
Yeah. And I still have all the sightings that we did, but we just needed to see what they were going to bring back with us with some changes. So,
Right,
Okay.
we said we did not vote to approve it and that we wouldn't until we saw the resubmitted plans.
right. Okay. All right. Can I hear a motion?
I would
Move
move
we
to-
approve with the changes?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay. Anybody on for audience business, Jennifer?
Yeah. No, no.
Susan, why do I do that? Because I saw you both today and now I'm all confused. Okay, so moving on. Old and new business, Tyler and Gina Rupert, 1205
Okay.
Rose Street.
All right, here they come.
Okay.
Hey.
Drum roll, please.
Sorry, I was reconnecting as a panelist, I think.
Okay. Okay, hi. Well, if you'll state your name and address, please.
Gina Ruber, 1205 Rose Street.
And then just describe for us your project here, what we're talking about.
We are just taking down our existing split rail fence and adding a cedar picket fence in its same place, same footprint. We're hoping to, anyway.
So there already is a fence there,
Yes,
marginal, okay.
marginal.
Okay,
How about book 3, chapter 11, page 81? Fences, walls, and gates.
And it has a gate, Tina?
Yes, so it's the same gate. It will be in the same spot, just one gate. We have a slab of concrete that goes up to our front porch, and that gate just leads right up to there.
Right, and the gate will match the pickets of the fence.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It
that's-
should look seamless when it opens, just be functional.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I have a sighting on book 3. I think you call it section A. 1, this reinforces the architectural character of other homes.
are we on page 81?
What page are you on?
I can't believe I didn't put the page on every other one.
It's chapter 11, book 3, page 81.
Thank-
Okay, thank you. And then it's A,
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Am I supposed to talk about that? I don't have a book.
No.
No, you're fine. You're
Okay.
fine. This is just
positive reinforcement.
Okay.
us.
no, we have a set of guidelines, Tina, and in order to look at anything, we have to go and find out what the guidelines say about them.
Oh, gotcha.
So we have a whole page on fences and walls and gates.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons, one of the things it says is gate material and design should be appropriate to the fence, which is why I asked you the question that I asked.
Oh, perfect.
So that
Okay.
we now can say, yes, it meets guideline 2A4.
I get you. Okay, gotcha.
Okay? Because we operate off this set of rules. This isn't, it isn't just how we feel tonight.
Oh.
Thank goodness, right?
Rita, can you clarify when you say picket, I'm looking at the sheet that's got all the things checked off on it that you submitted.
Okay.
It's normal dog ear fence. Just don't want to make sure there's no confusion that it's a spaced picket. There's space in between each picket.
Yes. I mean, I was thinking like smaller space, so like small, I mean, I don't have a dog, but if, just, I have a toddler, just so not like really big spaces, but yes, each one would be evenly spaced.
We can
Yeah.
see through the fence. That's.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It won't be solid.
Okay. So Susan, where are we in sightings?
All we have is A on page 81.
Section A1.
Then there's A2. Fences should not exceed 4 feet in height. A4, gate material and design should be appropriate to the fence. And then B, appropriate fence material includes wood, iron, wire, stone.
Or
That
plan?
should do it.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the application to replace the existing split rail fence at 1205 Rose Street with a new natural wood picket fence. For
Do
the
I hear,
site.
sorry, do I hear a second?
A second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? All right, we're done. Thank you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh. Okay. And up next, we have David and Ann Childs, 1406 14th Street. Okay. Hi there. Do you want to state your names for us and your address?
You're on mute.
Oh.
Can't hear you.
There we
There
go.
they go.
Yay. Okay. So,
Okay, David Childs,
Ann Childs.
1406 14th Street.
and describe your project for us briefly.
If you're right now, the house is on a crawl space that spans the property line between lot 14 and lot 15. And we're trying to find out what it would cost to build a foundation completely on lot 14 and then move the modular home on top of the new foundation. The foundation would be a concrete foundation with wood walls for a first floor, and then the existing modular home would be basically the second floor on the new location.
I have a question. When you get rid of this existing foundation, is that all yard then?
I'm sorry, what?
When and the existing foundation is removed, then is that space allocated to a yard?
Well, it would become a mostly vacant lot with a garage on it. When we finish the first part. Eventually, we'd like to remove the garage and have a vacant lot we could build on.
Right now, the lots aren't separated, correct? They're all. on one.
They show up as lot 14 and lot 15 on all the documentation I can find.
Sorry, I'm struggling to get my head around this.
Okay, no
so-
problem.
So you're talking about building a new foundation on lot 14
Yes,
and essentially putting a first floor there on that foundation?
yeah. So it would be like 45% garage and 55% finished area. And then the modular home that's currently on the crawl space would be moved on top of that. So we'd be adding about 800 square feet of living space and 450 square feet of garage. And then the modular home is that size.
So you would be getting into that garage from Marion Street.
Yes,
Okay, and then this lonely garage out here will sit like a lonely garage at the moment.
it'll sit at, yeah, for the moment until this all gets, because we're planning on doing a lot of work on the house after it gets moved. We were going to do the work before we moved it, but it made sense to move it first. Like refinish the bathrooms and the kitchen, maybe move one of the walls so the rooms were better size, put in wood floors or laminate floors. We need to replace the roof anyway, put on new siding. And it made sense, if we can move it, it made sense to move it before we did all that work. We want to replace the windows too, because they're old. And the drawings I made are just examples of windows. We probably have to submit real plans with the final window layouts and everything.
Tell me about your confidence about putting them,
We can't hear you, Betsy.
really?
Something's in front of your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Better.
Okay, so the modular home is going to be the first floor or the second floor?
Second floor.
Okay, and what's your confidence level about taking a modular home and sticking it on top of another?
We've already had a contractor come out that moves modular homes for a living. And it's actually two different 13-foot wide sections. So it's two sections that are 52 feet by 13 feet. And they get separated. He moves one and then moves the other. And I showed him what our plans were for the foundation, and he said that would be fine. And he's familiar with the brand of the modular home that is currently on the property.
And he knows he's setting it on top of another floor.
Yeah, he even told us that we should put like if we have any beams, like we do need I-beams down the middle. He said, put a beam that we could put a 2x6 on, because that's what he needs to make it easy for him to put the modules on top of it.
It's not that tough. I've seen it. And one that comes to mind right away is down in Lawson, right along the interstate. They jacked that one up and put a first floor addition on it. So basically what you're doing is you're framing the first floor addition, and then you put the modular on top of that first floor addition.
Correct.
Can be done.
Okay,
So how much does that change the height of it from what it is now?
The first floor, let's see if I have that on one of my elevations here. The existing main floor is at 84, 84. And then that same thing would be at 8488.
So
So
what-
we would actually raise the only 4 feet.
So what's the total height?
Well, the total height would be, I don't have that. It would be 4 feet higher than it currently is. I don't know if that, it's still a lot lower than the houses to either side of this house.
So it's one story now and it would just be 4 feet taller.
Well, it's 1.5 stories right now because the crawl space is actually 6 feet and sticks up 4.5 feet above grade.
So 4 feet taller than the existing.
Yeah. We still have to get prices for all the work, so it might all be moot, but we figured we needed to get this done before I made everyone do too much work.
Okay, on this set of plans,
I noticed one of the numbers is wrong too. I don't know, on the west elevation, no. On the east elevation, I have the first level at 8488 and it's really 8479.
I don't see what you're,
I
oh, I got it.
on, on this one right here, it says it's 8488 too, and it's 8479 too. I just from this drawing here, it's correct. And this one, I have it wrong.
So what all are we looking at here tonight, guys?
Well, we're gonna have to ask them to come back at some point in time and give us the correct elevation. So that's just a minor point. I think we
Yeah.
just need to go over physically the way the building's gonna look and get them some advice.
Correct. Well, hopefully.
We would consider this as a new building?
The first
The first
Floor.
floor is all new. The second floor is the existing house that's over the property line.
Yeah, because the difficulty, of course, considering it a new building, is that the roof lines and roof pitches are not what we would accept in a new building.
That's where I was going.
I think we have to call it an addition to make it work.
And it exists, so it's not like
Yeah,
we can say if you move it, you can't have it, right?
right.
So I have a question where it says like phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, we knew once we had it moved, we had to close it in and get it all together. So what we wanted to do is phase 1 was just have the existing house on the new foundation. And phase 2 is we wanted to add a turret to the northwest corner so that it would make the house look a little bit more like it belongs.
So I have a question for both phases this evening, or are we going to discuss?
I didn't know what you'd want to see, so I just put them both on this plan. Probably phase 1 is all we needed to do right now.
So we'll look at phase 1 tonight with the understanding that we need to see phase 2 before you go on and do that.
Right, that makes
I
sense.
see a lot of window changes and other things as well, which we would discuss. So we're looking at phase 1 tonight, everybody.
And I think today really it comes down to whether we can actually do this and move it. And then we'd have to submit new plans with the final window layouts and everything. But if we can't move it at all, I don't think we need to take any more of your time.
Should we do this as a conceptual?
That might be easier for you guys. And then we can basically tell you if there's any problems that we see for your final plans before you come back. Does that make sense?
That'd be great.
Okay.
How's the rest of the group feel about that? Is that okay?
I think that that's a very good idea, because I
Okay.
think their fundamental question, Mr. Childs, which is odd for me to say, that's my maiden name. What Mr. Childs has asked is, are we going to be willing to work with him on moving it, or can he simply not move it? I mean, I
Right.
think that's his bottom line question. And I'm not sure that we have an authority to answer that question.
I think it might be a positive to move it.
Yep.
Because we could get, we could enhance the structure by raising it, and putting new siding and windows in it, and new doors, and then it wouldn't look like a modular so much.
Yeah.
That we don't want it looking like it looks either.
I was trying to be kind.
No, that's okay. You,
I think it's
you
probably
don't-
the ugliest house in Georgetown.
yeah,
Points for
we don't call
tact.
it nice things.
Well, and also being on two lots the way it is, I'm not sure how that came to be exactly. Obviously, somebody owned them both, but I think it'd be better if it's on one lot or the other, don't you? If they're,
We thought so. We were surprised it was, and also the crawl space is pretty much worthless. It gets it out of the floodplain, but it's not usable for storage. It's just got a rock floor in it. It's ugly. It's like, when we bought it, the first thing we did is move 2 dumpsters of crap out of the house.
sounds about
We
right.
pulled up the carpeting now. We purchased laminate flooring to put down, because we're going to do that either way, whether we move it or not. So we're planning on buying new roofing materials too. So like right now it's got like this light gray roofing and we want to just go with black. So you're going to get more of these requests from us either way.
Okay. So I guess for the phase one thing, let's assume that it becomes feasible for you to move it.
Okay.
And then as far as what it's going to look like when phase one is done, is anything on these phase one drawings like something that you're going to add to it? Like the siding is new, correct?
Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
replace the siding with
Uh-huh.
probably the concrete, or whatever. I think it's a cement composite that lasts longer and looks like everyone
Hardy
else's.
board?
Yeah, hardy board. Thank you.
The siding, And then are any of these new windows new or just,
We would like to replace them because they're bad, but we can leave them as is.
okay, so you're not changing any of the windows for
But
this
there would
phase
be
one?
windows on the first floor because when we put that in,
Yeah.
so we could do new drawings for, once we price all the windows, these sizes are just what I drew. We'd probably buy universal size windows and try to get ones that we could replace on the top floor too.
Okay, well, then we should say that our our general stipulations are that you have a vertical window, that not square, but that
Okay.
they be vertical, so they accentuate the vertical nature of a house. And as
Okay.
you look around your neighborhood, you'll notice that most of those windows are basically 2-to-1s. They are, twice as tall as they are wide.
Okay, good to know.
And so, and enough on that lower floor to develop. In your south elevation on your phase one,
Uh-huh.
for instance, you have them paired on that elevation, which
Yeah.
looks really rather nice. And then you've got a lot of blank wall coming underneath the stairway.
Yeah,
So,
that's the garage.
well, the garage may have to suffer with a window.
Okay. That's fine.
But no, think about how it looks from the exterior and take a look at some of the window placements. I would say that's true also for the, well, the west elevation is not very, it only goes to your neighbor's yard, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
And there are no windows on this, on the current, on your current home on the west end?
Correct.
But they're planning them for phase two, it looks like.
Yeah. and-
Yeah, we'd like to add more light to those bedrooms.
And so those would also, we would want
Right.
a more.
And then we
vertical,
understand. Yeah, we didn't have square windows in our house either in Denver.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to give you an idea so you don't. come in.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, so the siding is good. How about trim on windows and doors and
Yeah,
corners?
And the windows should have some frame to
It should have
essentially,
a,
okay,
window should have a 1x4 frame around it or some kind of trim element around the window itself.
Okay.
I do sort of have that drawn. I don't know if that's visible.
And then also, like on the west elevation, perhaps put a mid belly band or belly board, as we call it, to
Okay.
take away from the height of the building. Just midway up. Put a trim board across the middle there would help break up that wall.
Okay,
And that could continue all the way around the building.
We generally would like to see the windows vertically stacked, like on the west elevation where, they're kind of just scattered across the siding rather than have with a vertical orientation.
Oh, over the existing windows.
Yeah, over the,
Yeah.
the bottom, the top windows would line up with the ones below them.
yeah,
okay.
the top
Okay.
ones are on phase 2,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, those aren't coming yet. And then the front here with this, the stairway and then the upper deck and the, looks like an awning that comes out, a porch cover.
Yes.
That's, what type of material is that?
It would just be wood.
Okay, bare wood?
Well, stained.
Stained wood,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
okay. So nice.
And your main entrance will still be upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other thing about this is the design we have, we were thinking about making the basement a studio unit.
Uh-huh.
And the purpose of that is,
Well, one reason is there's no way to get from that floor to the other floor without punching a hole in the existing main floor. So,
As long as you understand you can't make that a separate rentable piece of your property.
Okay.
okay, that's fine.
I mean, this is a single family residence zone, so
Okay.
Okay, well, like the house to the west of us, they split into 2 units, right? So is that an option or?
that's interesting.
To the west.
On Rose.
That's a zoning
On
regulation.
Rose and 14.
Rose and 14th?
Yeah, that is, I know that's 2 separate owners. I think it's a duplex.
It's a duplex. I think
Yeah,
it was
that's a
built
duplex
as a
on the corner.
duplex, but I'm not sure that this zoning still contains duplexes. Maybe it does.
Yeah, I don't know. Mill site says, the mill site zone says you can.
Oh,
Um,
okay, then you can.
Oh, okay.
Historic zone, you cannot.
Never mind.
It says you can have an accessory unit that is no more than a certain percentage, and then also talks, we don't want to rent out rooms like it says. But it did say you could have an accessory unit.
And there needs to be parking to provide for that if it's. a
Right,
separate-
it'd have to be, and that was another question we had is this design only has a 2-car parking garage. We could possibly have parking spaces on the south side off of 14th Street. I don't know if parking behind the garage counts.
But
You
the
mean-
south side's your front elevation.
Right.
And yeah, we really do
Prefer
sort of
not.
discourage parking.
Are you
directly.
talking about on the south side, if there were 2 cars in the garage and then a car parked on the driveway as well?
Yeah.
We don't know if cars parked on the driveway counts as a 3rd parking space, or whether we'd have to have parking. And the only other place we could have parking besides the driveway is on the south side.
Well, I think if it's on your driveway, it's okay. It's.
But you can't,
driveway.
the driveway's only big enough for the 2 cars that are going in and out of the garage. They're looking for a third.
Right.
I think that's a zoning issue. We gotta stay out of that.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean-
only that we don't want people parking in directly on their properties in front of their houses. That's,
Okay.
Okay, there is space to the north of the driveway that's 8 feet wide. I don't know if that's wide enough to have a car parked there, but it would be parked right between the property line and the driveway.
okay, and on the east elevation, and this is for phase 2, do we want to see those windows stacked evenly above the garage doors?
Yeah, we're actually going to review the phase 2 once, at a later date, once they get this first phase
Once we
done.
get it all buttoned up.
Yeah, so we're just kind of looking at anything that's going to be like as it exists and they're moving it for phase 1, anything that we don't want changed before they get to phase 2.
Yeah, but I think it's important for them to understand,
Right.
even for, thinking ahead for phase 2, what we're going to be looking for.
Yeah,
Right,
oh, yeah,
like-
yeah.
We need the first floor windows to be where they need to be. Right.
Right.
Well, and on that east elevation, if you're going to have 2, and I think that's just this kind of preliminary drawing you have, that it looks like those 2 upper windows may not be quite centered, but
Yeah, they're not.
They're not.
yeah, but you get where we're going
We
with
can
that.
make them centered.
Yeah, you get where we're going. Okay.
The one is actually currently into the bathroom of the master bedroom,
Uh-huh.
which, yeah, we're not exactly sure what would be best for that. But we could make the other one match the same location.
I guess just, keep in mind when you do your room layouts and window layouts and all that, we're looking for more of a symmetry in the
Okay.
one relationship on the window heights. We want to maintain a vertical look rather than a horizontal look. You might consider an eyebrow or something over the garage doors to break up that wall a bit. Those are the kinds of things that typically come up during design reviews.
Okay, one thing I was wondering is there's a code that says we have to be 15 feet off the front. And does that mean we have to be 15 feet off the south elevation or the south and the east elevation since it's a corner lot?
That's a question.
That's sort of up to the zoning review. That's an excellent question. I think the answer to that is no, because you have, but there is something about corner lots, so.
Right, there was something saying only one side had to be, and I wasn't sure which one that was. But it sounds like you're calling the south elevation the front. So my guess is that's the one that would have to be 15 feet.
What is your address?
1406 14th Street.
Then the south elevation is the front.
Faces 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the site plan, it's 6, if we add the turret later, it's 16 feet to the front of the property line. If we don't have the turret, then we have a lot more than 15 feet.
Okay. That's the front setback.
And just one more question, and I think you've answered this already, but what is your supposed total height of both of these sections when you have a new foundation, the modular home moved, and then the whole second floor?
It should be about 20 feet, which is about 4 feet higher than it is right now.
All right,
Yeah,
so we
the
don't
eve.
have any issues with
No.
that being too high.
No, as a matter of fact, most of the houses around him are that height or even a little more.
Yeah, they're all like closer to 26 to 30.
Thanks.
On your north elevation, you
Uh-huh.
show a portion of the existing foundation wall.
Yes.
We will probably ask you to cover that with stone or something. It can't be just cement, okay?
Okay,
Okay, yeah, the plan was to actually, on phase 2, include that as part, like actually bump out the house so that there could be a stairway inside that space up
Okay,
to the second floor.
okay.
good.
But right now, the only way to get to the second floor is the front.
Right.
I have a question about the stone. Does it have to be natural stone or can it be like the plastic stuff that looks like natural stone?
It can look like stone.
Okay,
But if it is look like stone, you have to bring us a sample.
Okay.
before-
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because they make,
Veneer is what we're calling it, veneer stone.
okay,
Yeah, it's generally a cement product, typically not plastic.
okay.
Yeah, there's 2 roof top elevations, and one shows the wall just sort of hanging out there. And the other one shows that the house has been extended out to include that wall.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you two actually sitting in your modular section right now talking to us?
Oh,
No,
no,
we're
no,
in we're in Centennial.
We're in Centennial. The modular, in my opinion, is not livable right now.
It's a work in progress.
It's
Yeah.
a work in progress.
Yeah, we've already bought, like, we have a new water heater and stuff, and a lot of the work we want to do is it'll start right away if we don't move the house. It'll start after we move if we do move the house.
Okay. On this north elevation, I understand that your future plans would be trying to put that possibly a stairway back there, so it'd be a little bit of a bump out addition.
Yes.
So how do we feel about no windows? That's the north.
We could add windows, but it's the north side.
Yeah, okay. So for phase one, we're not gonna worry about not having windows, but for that future phase, we may do that. And then what about you're doing shingle roof, asphalt shingle?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mark. What
I
kind of
think you've
shingle?
got it listed as asphalt shingles, and they have to be a 50-year variety,
Right.
high wind load, so you know about that.
Okay, all
And
right.
we'll probably need to know what your garage doors are going to look like also.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'd probably just go with the whatever the 4-panel ones. Nothing fancy.
But with windows in the garage door?
We can do windows if you guys like that.
Oh, it's up to you. I mean,
Yeah, we don't usually do that because
We-
Yeah.
they
Especially
insulate better
down
without
there
the
with wind.
But something that speaks with the kind of siding you're now going to have, and let's think about what those garage doors look like, given you're going to the extent to really try to improve the siding look on
Uh-huh.
those
Mhm.
things. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, there are a number of styles that are fine, but we're going to be thoughtful about what they look like, and they will be 2 individual doors, not one big door.
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
And
Yeah,
that's-
the modular home almost requires that because it's got to have a support down the middle, right down the middle of that, between those 2 doors.
Okay.
Well, we like to require it too.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Happy accident.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and then also driveway. Is there a driveway there already? Oh, you're moving it.
Well, there's actually just, I mean, it's all, if you've ever been by there, it's a gravel pit with a modular home on it, an ugly modular home.
So it's all gravel, right?
Yeah.
Gravel, yeah, so.
Okay.
The backyard is gravel, the front yard is gravel.
Consistency, we like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that. Okay,
but we
All
were
right.
not planning on paving the driveway. Just having it gravel.
We'd probably put down crushed
Gravel.
granite or something, not just the existing dirt.
right. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Oh, we do have preferences about what happens to the driveway, so.
Okay,
Okay.
Have we given you enough information? This is a question.
Yeah, I think so. So you need just a phase 1, and you're okay with us not adding windows to the existing modular home until we want to get, after we get it all closed in and everything, and then you'd like us to add windows so they match up.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're changing any windows at this point, we would like for them to go towards the correct, dimensions
so-
and all that. But if you're not
So I
planning
can
on changing,
modify the main floor windows that would make sense to go with the style that Georgetown wants.
yes,
Yes.
Okay,
you just don't want to do it twice. So if you do need to change something, that would be,
well, yeah, we don't want to change the first floor windows, but we want to replace the existing windows either way. And I don't think those have been conformed.
no,
No, they don't.
40 by 45 by, I don't know, 50 something, maybe 60.
45 by 60 maybe.
Yeah, so they are more square.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, we can definitely make them more rectangular in nature.
Okay. If nobody has anything else, are we tabling this, making this a preliminary?
Well, yes, it's just preliminary.
Preliminary, okay. So,
A window, a material schedule, a window and door schedule.
What the windows look like, schedule.
Okay, is there something that has to happen for zoning to make sure we can move forward? Because I don't want to take up your time again if we can't move it.
Bob?
You need to, verify that you meet the setbacks and I don't know how big is this, if it's a legal size lot or not.
The back lot is the small, lot 15 is the smallest. It's actually exactly the limit. It's the rule for mill site is it has to be 5,000 square feet. However, existing properties can be 25% below that, and it is exactly 25. It's 3,750 is the back lot. So if that causes the back lot not to be usable, it makes a lot less sense for us to move the house because it will just have a big backyard that we need to bulldoze the spare garage.
And those are the zoning kind of things you need to really check with the town administrator on.
Okay, I actually have the ones that Steve did because he was not going to be here tonight. And it's got everything on you. I don't know if you guys got a copy or not. You're familiar with this sheet that we get for zoning stuff. It says that it's less than the minimum lot size, but I don't know if that, it doesn't comply is what it says. And then on the setbacks for the 15 feet on the front and everything, it does say it complies on all the setbacks. So that's the only thing. And, sometimes the size of your lot is what it is. So,
Well,
Wait, no,
but if you plan to use that lot and build another residence there,
Uh-huh.
you may not be able to do that. That's the question.
Yeah.
And we're not in a position to say yay or nay on that, but it's just from experience, if it's a substandard size lot, you may not be able to build.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I looked at, there's a chapter 1732:10 that says non-conforming uses for buildings and lots. And it says, for existing lots, it can be 25% below the minimum, which the lot is exactly 25% below the minimum.
yeah,
We have to talk to somebody else about that.
because when the town was platted, some lots were platted at 3,750 and not the 5,000. And
We got two of those.
and you've got two of those. So those become a pre-existing. What you can't do is create a smaller lot and then build on it.
Okay,
Okay,
Do you?
yeah, I understand.
That's-
yeah, so I mean,
that's
it
the
might be,
zoning
they might already think this is one lot, and I'm reading everything wrong, that it's two lots.
And
So,
we're not really able to answer that question, but I think
right,
that's something
Be
you
careful with it.
definitely need to do due diligence on and see
Okay.
what it means.
Okay,
and then this is totally, probably not your problem. If it becomes too expensive for us to do this, do we have to do another one of these just to change the siding and replace the roof?
it would be a formal.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know if
okay.
we have, okay, I could do it, I could submit a new one just for that if that's necessary.
Okay, and if this is your preliminary, then we would be waiting to hear back from you with like your final plans
Oh,
and
yeah, I
that
understand
type of
that.
thing. So, that would be kind of, much easier because you know
Right.
what we're expecting.
Probably don't even need drawings if I'm just replacing the siding and roofing.
Well, we already have that basically.
Right.
yeah, basically, they just probably want to see the materials.
Right, okay. So, yeah, hopefully we'll hear back from the subcontractors and see if we can afford to do this, and hopefully we can, otherwise I wasted your time tonight.
No, you didn't. And actually, if you
We'll
do,
report it Next year or the year
Yeah.
after.
yeah, if it does come down to not moving it, but going ahead with the remodel and everything,
Uh-huh.
we would want to discuss new windows and that type of thing too, because you would be doing that all in place
Yeah.
as it is.
Yes.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we'd like to get the siding and roofing fixed soon, either
Okay.
way, sooner than we replace the windows, but yeah, we might not, it might be worth doing it all at the same time.
I think it is.
Well,
She
if
says it is,
I
so.
we could approve new siding and roofing tonight if it's,
No, I don't think we want to do that until we know.
No, don't do that.
okay,
Um,
okay.
I can bring in samples and whatever is necessary. That's fine.
Keep
Thank you
tonight's
very much.
Okay, thank you.
preliminary. Then, they've already paid their fee for the actual COA application. So
Yes.
once they
Do
figure
you want a
out.
motion to table or?
Yeah, we could do that.
Approve it at that
Well,
point.
we just said that it would be a conceptual, and not a,
And not a COA application.
not a COA application.
My application actually is marked preliminary review.
Is it really?
The clerk at the desk told me to do a real review, but I thought it was preliminary, so,
So you marked your application.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. We should note that, yes, mine's marked preliminary also, because you marked it, right?
Yes.
And so we should simply let the town know that the fee should apply to the application when the formal new application comes in.
Oh, great.
I
That's wonderful.
think we can, because you don't pay the, I don't know what you pay for a preliminary, but it's not the same as an application. So
We can certainly write a check. for
Susan, can we
the-
make some sort of a note on that
Yeah.
so
Sure.
that Jen knows that? Okay,
All right.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, here we go.
so next we have Mike Huggins.
There he is.
There we go.
Mike, why don't you tell us what you're doing?
So,
State your name and address, please.
Yep.
Sorry.
Mike Huggins, my wife and I live at 603 Brownell Street, Georgetown, Colorado.
Yeah.
And so October of 2020, went through design review with you all and got approval and certificate, and it is now expired. So I am resitting down now that we have found a general contractor to do this work, which took over a bit a year to find. We are now ready to move forward. And so
Okay. And so,
there is one little change, and that is the upstairs terrace wraps around the front, but does not extrude past the other what do you call it, bay window that we have. It's just more for architectural appeal of breaking up the plain front of the building, if you would look at the drawings or conceptuals.
Great.
so that's the south elevation.
Correct. I have a real hard time with my compass with thinking of I-70 and how it does not run east and west right here.
No, it does not. Okay, so the changes on the south elevation are, sorry, what again?
Before the patio just ended at the corner or right at the corner of the building,
Uh-huh.
as it does now. And we have extended it just a sliver. It's not really usable, but just for an architectural appeal of breaking up the front of the building.
So you're just talking about the patio on the ground,
No, the patio that's elevated,
the deck.
the deck, yes.
Okay. So it just extends further, but not around the front?
It extends around the front.
Okay, do we have a drawing for that?
It should be on the drawings that were submitted.
So you're talking the east side, it extends.
Yes, actually, correct. Not the south elevation, the east elevation.
Okay, okay.
A2,
I see you. I see you.
There we go.
yellow.
Is it A1, 2?
We had a lot of stipulations on that first set of plans, Mike.
I've got
Correct.
it.
We made those changes with the window design of making them rectangular versus square.
But the one I'm looking at is the east elevation. Maybe I have an old east elevation. Because we talked about it having a slanted bottom to meet grade.
I do not recall that.
Are you talking the little roof above the bay window?
No, I'm talking about under. The bay
Yeah.
window have a slanted bottom.
Oh, slanted.
So actually
Oh.
on,
The grade.
Yes, and we do have that
Ankle
support.
timbered support.
Yes, and we do have that added.
Yeah, it's just not on this.
Let me see if it's on the construction drawing itself. All right, but on the and I don't know if you have, you might not have. Yeah, I'm seeing it. We're
Looks
looking
like
at,
brackets.
yeah,
Yeah, it shows up on A2.
yes, at A2.
It shows basically they're a bracket on each end of the window.
And
Where-
a piece that
where
stretches
A-
across. That's
A2 is, oh, I see, on this set, the big set.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I was just checking that the changes that we talked about to begin with were still there.
I have all the original stipulations and requests that we made from
Yes,
that
I'm
approval.
just trying to make sure they showed up on the plans.
So is that an aerial window then with the two supports under it?
the bay window that's on the east elevation.
Yeah, well, it's not a bay because you can't walk into it. So it's an
Oh,
ori.
okay. Ariel window. Okay, that's a new term for me. A lot of these terms are new for me.
You know,
Knows what-
bays
okay.
are places you can duck into.
Okay.
And so the plans show the expanded A2 also shows that expanded balcony. Yes,
Correct.
On the front,
it's in yellow on,
yes.
all right. What else did we say? Larger panes on the windows.
Which we did because before we had them broken up in small panes.
Yes.
I can just list you the ones that we put on the,
Why don't we just go through them real quick?
okay, so the three east side windows were to be designed to a minimum vertical 1:2 ratio.
Yep, they are.
And the aria window to have a slanted bottom to meet the ground, actually. And it says such as angled timber supports.
And it does have the angled timber supports.
But does
Okay.
not meet the ground.
Doesn't go all the way down. I mean, the idea was that it would go all the way down, which would make it really.
And on the side view, the south elevation,
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
looks like it
actually.
goes down to the concrete elevation. The
Oh,
slab.
it doesn't look like it's dangling, basically. Okay, then it says actually fewer, that I recall there were a lot of really numerous panes of glass and this, and we had encouraged fewer larger panes on the windows. And that the French doors were to match Victorian style. Meaning with divided lights. Gutters half round, painted to match. And then exterior lights, dark sky.
And our dark side ordinance is an 85% cutoff. In other words, you can only be 80, you can't be, essentially, your light can't be level with the, with its fixture. It has to be recessed slightly in it so that your light span is not this way, it is this way.
Okay.
it's interesting because everybody who puts a light fixture, even with a light bulb, even with their fixture, as long as you can't see the bulb, figures they've gone dark sky. But a full cutoff is a little bit more recessed than that.
Joan, are you
Yes.
reading those stipulations off of old minutes by chance? Do you have a date?
Office,
Actually, no, I wasn't on the minutes, but I do have, did you want the stipulations or the sightings?
I just want to know how to find them somewhere else.
I've got them on the previous decision form.
Okay.
And what we wrote on the decision form was the 3 east side windows to be at a 1:1:2 proportion. The oriel window to have support below, gutters to match the house, and non-reflective vents or utilities.
and Susan, a copy of that is in our agenda.
Oh, good. That's what I want. Thank you.
So what do we need to do? Do we need to make a motion to renew the certificate of appropriateness?
Yeah, and I guess we can make a note that the changes to the porch are approved.
Yes.
Okay,
That balcony on the corner.
and then we'll basically use sightings and stipulations from last time.
Yes.
You do. I mean, it's already recorded in the COA. We're just extending the validity date on the COA.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll keep these two together. Do we want to make it, sorry, do we want to make a note for anything on the porch besides just that it's approved? The expansion of the deck is approved.
Yeah, an extension of the deck is approved.
Okay.
Spell this term like oriel window, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's AR.
OR.
OR.
AROR?
No.
OR.
Right.
Oriel. Oh, well, that makes sense. Oriel window. Okay.
So spell it for me, please.
ORIAL.
Okay.
OR.
I've never heard that term before.
I didn't think you'd spell it like the bird.
I thought it was like an Oreo cookie.
That too. The Oreo windows.
How about I
So,
make a motion?
thank you.
To renew the certificate of appropriateness with all the stipulations previously cited, and then plus submitting the drawings that we have tonight, because it shows any changes.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay.
ORIEL.
ORIEL?
Yeah,
Sounds French.
that's because it is.
Okay.
All right, teachers, are you done with your spelling?
No, I had to look it up.
It's on the blueprint.
There they are.
Yes.
It's on the blueprint.
It is.
Does my architect call it Ariel?
I don't think so. I think he wrote Bay.
Oh.
Mark, you can start the next one. I'm just finishing this up.
Okay, I think it's
All right.
time for Mr. Geisness, isn't it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Take care.
Good luck.
Good seeing y'all. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying.
Susan, can you switch them on to panelists? Well, here they come.
Yeah, they're here. I'm just,
There they are.
it just take a minute.
Pedal faster.
Is my volume better? Is my volume better, Cindy?
No,
Is there something in front of your computer? Or I think, you know what, look on your keyboard. Did something touch the volume button?
I'm gonna call Apple after this. Still coming.
All right, Mr. Tom, are you ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and
Hello.
give us the official address and everything, please.
I'm sorry, say again. Tom Peterson. And what else did you need?
The address.
Address for this one, it's lot 7 up on Biddle Street, Washington Mill site. We had an address on we had that. We had I'm not sure the address on that one yet.
Okay. Is this right next to Fred Elms
Yes,
on the uphill side, correct?
correct.
Okay, so it's going to be on Biddle Street.
On Biddle Street. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, tell us about your project.
Just a new single family house. Yeah, just kind of, I guess, next in line there. Let's see. I'm not sure what all.
How many square feet is it?
Yeah, so I guess, like I say, a new single family house that,
Okay, that's enough.
I mean,
We got it.
I mean,
Never mind.
picture's worth 1,000 words, I guess. Is what I'm.
How many square feet is this house?
It is just over 3,000 square feet is finished square footage.
counting all 3 floors?
Yes,
Okay.
the 2-story plus loft-ish. Kind of depends on how you count that 3rd story.
So the total height of all of this is 24?
Yeah, the maximum height from average grade is 24'6" is the highest gable, which ironically is around the front of the building, which is on the Biddle Street side, which of course, from that side, it's not that tall because that average grade is about 4 or 5 feet below existing grade on that uphill side. So, but yeah, the average or the maximum building height is 24'6".
But it was taken off the highest gable, which is not the front gable?
The highest gable is the front gable. That's correct.
No, the highest gable is not the front gable. The highest gable is the cross gable.
Actually, that cross gable, I'm looking at the south elevation right now. The cross gable is 24 feet, so that's actually 6 inches lower as far as the midpoint of those 2 gables.
Then how did you get this picture from the southwest?
The 3D perspective
Mhm.
west.
Or
No,
even
correct.
without-
I guess, yeah, physically that cross gable is the tallest roof. Yes.
So
But
how-
the midpoint of that roof is 6 inches lower than the midpoint of the front gable.
How can that
Because
be?
it's a wider, longer roof line. That's why it's lower, if that makes sense.
Because there's less slope in the front gable.
No, trying to think the best way to describe it.
Because if they're the same slope, then the cross gable is actually taller. And it certainly is
Cross
taller.
gable, the peak of the cross gable is taller, the midpoint of the cross gable is lower because it's a longer, wider gable. So because it's wider, the midpoint is lower.
Okay.
If
And
I'm
then-
looking to either
that midpoint, however, is measured off of the front elevation, not midpoint of, I mean, the height is measured off the front elevation, not off of the elevation below the cross gable.
I'm not sure if I follow what you were saying there.
It's more than 24 feet from the ground to the midpoint of the cross gable than 24 feet.
Then to the ground, correct. South elevation, I think, is the one I'm looking at again, that I think shows all the heights relative to each other, relative to average grade.
We don't really know what that height is.
Say again, Betsy?
We know what the height is. Right?
Can't hear you.
We don't really know what the highest point height is. Is that correct?
By definition, I mean, as far as how the building is measured, it's measured to the midpoint of the slope. So that's what's shown on here. If need, I mean, so that's what's shown here.
If you look at the ones, go ahead, Cindy.
There's a difference between how you legally measure a house that goes down a hill and then what the actual visual height is.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the question?
I think, I think the question becomes, this is the highest point on the Washington Mill site. This is the very top of where the road peaks, and then starts going back down. And on one side of it is a house that has been built, whose back roof we missed, as Marvin pointed out to me once, and he certainly is right. But it's a story and a half, and then it's either on 6 or 8. I don't know which numbers go where. And then there's a 2-story house being built on the other side, which is, however, somewhat substantially, I don't know how many feet, lower in elevation because the whole land dips through there. I think the concern is mass and scale.
I guess if this helps, I recall looking at this with Marv before too, because he asked that question in terms of how much taller is this house than lot 8, which is to the north of this house, and it is peak to peak, it's about 2 feet taller than that.
But the other one sits at a lower elevation. So visually, it will be a lot more than the 2 feet.
No, I mean, relative elevation. I'm talking like it's 2 feet. I'm not talking 2 feet from foundation or to peak. I'm talking 2 feet. It's physically 2 feet taller than lot 8. If peak elevation is 100 on lot 8, peak elevation of this one is 102 feet. As a, if that, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but so what we did is we did our average grade like we did on lot 8, and averaged all the corners to find our average grade, and which again shows on south elevation. And so that's our base mark for measuring the building height. And then from that point to midpoint of the gables is below the maximum allowable height.
So Tom, if I can just summarize what you've said, the visual is 2 feet higher than 8, but lot 7 is in compliance with the technical definition calculation of height. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
So Cindy, I see what you're talking about. And I think part of it is on this 3D drawing. When you're looking at the southwest one, because on these 3D, like this one is in the front, and then you see this white house in the background. And it seems to be smaller and lower. If you look at the southeast picture, and you can see the white house off to the side, and it doesn't quite have that same appearance of being so much lower. And if it's actually 2 feet lower, because this house is up higher.
Oh, it's, yeah, this house is up much more than 2 feet higher.
Tom, didn't you send out or Jennifer, didn't she send out like a fly around?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that available where you could put it up and we could get that perspective? 'Cause it shows in the area, I think.
Yeah. I could just open up the model here. I have the model open.
Do I have to do anything to help you?
Let me see here. Get back to my Zoom
You should be able to do it.
page
Okay.
to share screen here.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Share screen, screen one. Okay. Says I'm sharing. Can you guys see that?
Yeah,
Yep.
we do.
So I'll just tell me where you want to look.
From street level,
Yeah, from Main Street up.
From Main Street, if I actually put a guy on the road here, it's going to be, well, yeah. Let me just do this here, kind of like that. I'll try to get kind of even with lot 7. So if I put a man down here on the road, you're not going to be able to see the house because the house is in front.
yeah, well, the house in front is going to is going to really take care of the view of the back of the house. I mean, it's going to break it up entirely. You're not going to see it particularly from Main Street. I think my concern was as much from Biddle Street as from Main Street, that it did not overwhelm. And you can see the roof we missed. Yeah, that one. No, well, yeah, and we simply missed it.
So I mean, yeah, we spin around right to the front side of things. The terrain's kind of in the way here too, but
So this house is taller than the one we missed?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so we should have, I don't think I was here, but we should have had that house that we missed have a lower height. Is that correct?
No, it's just that the whole back roof is a big, long, flat surface that we could have, there.
Yeah, broken up a little.
We could have broken up and not changed the height or anything. It just, it gives a very flat roof line, and we have a lot of variegation, a lot of variety in roof line in this whole project. And it's part of what I think makes the project work, is that there is this, and yes, it was Marvin who said to me, why didn't you take care of the back roof?
Are there trees over here? Aren't there tall trees behind that white one, behind the roof one we're talking about?
Yeah, and there's a dog leg. There's another house that's halfway behind it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because do those in this fly around, do houses sit exactly where they sit, or are they slightly moved over?
no, this is where they should be. These are all based on all the site plans, including lot 6 here, just the white. I just modeled that one up quickly. Obviously it's pretty rough model there, but that was to give ourselves some perspective of the complete build out there.
Could we go back to Biddle Street?
Mm-hmm.
And
So are there houses across the street that are going to have their view obstructed by this house?
Yes.
Well, oh yeah, not yet though, right?
There's,
There would be up higher.
Yeah, well, the Nisel house sits right above that, and yes, it's,
that's
okay.
probably this house. I had that, that's an accurate, complete elevation, but I mean, that's a rough location of where that existing house is. So it's,
okay, just,
if I level out to, well, shoot, even, I'm just eyeballing this here. So this line here, that's, if that's your sight line, you know, if you're standing at this house, you know, that line, if you put a man standing here, you know, their eyeballs are right about, you know, the last couple feet below. But
Tom, stay there for a minute. You're showing that the house on lot, I think it is 8,
it's this one.
is essentially at the same elevation as the one on lot 7.
Correct. I mean, it's a couple feet. I mean, it's hard to see in the 3D model with the perspectives, but this peak on lot 7 is about 2 feet taller than this peak.
Okay, right now, if you stand at the front door of the new one on lot 7, you are looking substantially down a hill towards the other one. Are you leveling out something up there in order to drop this below where the road level is currently?
The floor elevation is essentially about a foot above the road. And the garage does, you know, because the road, as you were saying, it starts to slope down towards lot 8. We've lowered the garage, and it kind of have a downhill driveway into that garage. If that's answering your question.
Now, my question is that those porches look like they're very close to the same elevation, the base foot of the porch. And that's not where the land seems to be at the moment.
Looks like you're down.
Looks like a pretty good drop, yeah.
Between the two houses.
Yeah,
Like take the corner of the front porch right above where you are on 7, where there's like a red bow in the bush
Oh,
there.
It's our
So
fire
that
hydrant.
edge, oh, is that a dog?
Yeah, the fire hydrant.
Okay, so that edge of the porch, the floor, and then straight across to the number 8 house, it looks like the floor of that porch is gonna come out straight across, maybe at the top of their railing.
It looks higher.
Yeah, a little bit higher than that even.
Well,
No, we're just trying to get a compare on how much lower that other house is. It's several feet lower, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
It looks that way to me on the drawing. On
So-
this.
Is part of the issue that when you're looking up the hill at these new constructed houses, that this house on lot 7 looks substantially higher than the other houses?
Yeah, well, and it's also square footage wise. I mean, square footage wise, the bulk wise. Tom, what is the on lot 8?
what on lot 8? The square footage?
Square footage.
Yeah.
That one was about 2,700 square feet, if I recall correctly.
I think it's 2750 on your drawings,
Okay,
if I recall.
and that including the garage and everything. And you're saying that the new one on 7 would be about 3,000 or 36. What were you saying?
But like 30, I think it's like right around 3,100.
With the garage?
No, that's living space.
And the other one was 27 with the garage,
No, living space.
living space. Okay, that's your.
Okay.
well, lot 7 is, you know, it's definitely the biggest house, but it's not, in my mind, it's not terribly out of whack with the 2 houses that are on either side of it in terms of square footage.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. If one's 27 and the other's 3,000, it's
a little
it's
bit
not a
bigger.
bulk issue.
They're, and it may be a little higher. I don't know if it's higher than Fred Elm's house, but it's,
Well, the land is at the moment, but it doesn't mean, I mean, it's not significantly higher than Elm's house. It's significantly higher than the lot 8, but it's not, I mean, you're coming up to the rise of the hill and Elm's is right there and this goes on the next section of it.
And we can have confidence that this is a 2-foot higher distance.
Between the two,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
well, if you use the horizon line there, the difference between green and blue,
Mhm.
that would set like a sky an elevation that you could reference off, I would think. And it's just looks like it's just a little bit higher than the ones on the sides of it.
So that's a view, non-perspective. So that's just a 2-dimensional view.
Okay, so that would put it all on the same plane.
Mhm.
Right. So
You mean that you're talking about the peak of that gable to the long gable, the long roof we see on the top here?
Yeah.
peak to peak, there's about 2 feet difference in elevation. Just from what I was.
I mean, it looks more massive because you've got a cross gable.
That's right.
But I mean, that's,
The reason that that was actually something that I sort of drove in the design, because we wanted to make it look different than lot 8, but the footprint of the two are almost the same. But the visual is quite a bit different, and
Right.
that's why we have the cross.
I mean, you know, one of the guidelines in book 2 on page 9 is that it should be within 5 feet of the of average height in the immediate neighborhood, which I think it certainly is that.
It just seems like we're seeing a big massive roof there, though.
Well, it's broken up. You got
Yeah.
the dormer and the cross-
Massive roof is the one on it.
Yeah, I think it's broken up pretty nicely. Well, you know, if you build your house at the top of the hill, do you have to build a smaller house just because you're at the top of the hill? I mean, it's not bigger than anybody else's. It's just at the top of the hill.
And you've got a house behind it as well. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Which is tiny.
yeah, yeah. Well, this one in front of it from this view, you know, really takes away a lot of the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
size of it. And that's good on a hill because, you know, it could be really bad if there was nothing there. So,
Would you
That's-
take us down to Main Street again, Tom?
Yeah, that's kind of where we are here.
Yeah, but I mean, so we're down there because we're still looking at it slightly this way.
Yeah, I mean, if we're.
Now you're
there
pretty
we go.
close to being on the street.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm standing far enough back. Obviously, here's Main Street here, so I'm kind of standing off of Main Street here just to be able to see everything. But yeah, if we're down on Main Street, that's
Yeah, because the other thing is that because those two houses still aren't built in front, that we don't have the same kind of a sense of the place.
they'll be there by the time this one gets done.
Mhm.
Yes.
Are those the actual designs of the houses?
Yes,
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep, all these.
because the one on the far left is very much there.
Yep.
And I think fits very, very well in its space.
And we've begun framing on the one in the center, which is lot 4, and within days, framing starts on 5. So you're going to see a lot of construction on those two prior to our ability to start on lot 7.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
are
we
we-
beat the height deal around enough.
I think we're ready to, I think we're good. So if we want to just start with our east elevation on this and work our way around.
Sure.
Or you got to do the whole shot.
So yeah, tell me if you want me to flip to a sheet or if you guys are going to just go back to stop share or.
You know what? I think if you can leave them up, it helps us all be looking at exactly the same thing. Do you want to start on the east elevation there, Tom?
Sure.
Okay, so we can all turn to our page and then hopefully we can kind of help point to each other what we're talking about. So Tom, our driveway is,
Yeah, that's going to be the concrete.
It'll be the same Georgetown concrete that we put on lot 6 on the Elms house.
colored and brushed,
Yes.
No, it's
Well-
got aggregate in it.
exposed,
doesn't
exposed.
Goes that
Okay.
Yeah.
it? Just aggregate in it. It doesn't, not necessarily. Is this what you want to do, or do you want to go through the whole thing that we eventually have to go through?
But yeah, let's just start on this side. Well, do you guys want to start with sightings or do we want to give a run through around the house and see if there's
I had a
anything?
couple of questions. You know, he's got some 8-foot doors in there and we said no 8-foot doors.
Tom,
D2, D4, D5.
D5 is a door on there, and then I don't know where it says no 8-foot doors.
Okay, let me find it.
And on a previous discussion with your group, I think there was a desire to have the top of the doors be equal to the top of the windows. And that's why we tried to do that.
No, we went to 7 foot. I remember I got my notes in front of me. It says 7 foot. We agreed on 7 foot, not 8-foot doors. And you lowered the tops of the windows down.
and we didn't actually specify that the windows have to be the same height as the top of the door.
No,
I think that was your preference. So the door, the 7-foot door with a transom over it was our option for if you wanted a little more height on your door.
8 foot's too big a door in that neighborhood. And that's what we decided. And so that would be on the west elevation, D3, or no, that's not correct. D2, which is those doors on that deck. Where's D4?
It's the garage doors.
Yeah,
We can do the transom.
Garage door, okay. Well, that doesn't make any difference there. So those are fine there.
So if the garage doors are 8 feet, that D5 next to it is 8 feet too.
Garage doors are fine at 8 foot.
So Marv, did you say you would do the 7 foot with a transom?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
that's-
then your height will still all be the same across the
Right.
windows.
I think it just looks odd to have a door so close to a window that's doesn't have the same head height, but a transom gets the same thing done.
Okay.
So you're talking that these would be doors with transoms?
Yes.
I'm with Marv on that, it's architecturally, I think that's gonna be funnier looking than it just doesn't, you're just gonna be adding another line here. We're trying to get, the the rhythm of the windows to, like Mark was
Tom,
saying.
we went through this before, Tom.
Pardon?
We went through this before with you on these 8-foot doors. We didn't want to start putting 8-foot doors down there because we had them pop up on another project up the hill from you, a proposed project, and we told them no 8-foot doors. So you can do a transom, you can do whatever you want, but the door's got to be 7 foot.
So the
That's what you did on
transom,
that other house.
the transoms don't have to be divided up.
No,
They can just.
yeah, that's an extra line. Make your windows match that line.
Well, we can do a transom on that. I recall the concern of the 8-foot door, but I don't recall a resolution on that or any guideline that says no 8-foot door. So, and the reason back to the 8-foot height is, it's a tall room. And if we start
I know what
going to
you're saying.
smaller, to a lower window, lower door, then that it doesn't, on the inside, when you're in the space, it doesn't feel right.
So we're not lowering windows.
Not
And your-
lowering
and your
windows.
door height, your door opening height is still the same. It's just a window at the top instead of a tall door.
Right.
If you're worried about that sideline, then you make your windows 7 foot tall to match the door. It's very simple. So either go with the transom or you lower your windows to that 7 foot mark to match the door.
Okay, we can add some transoms if Marv's okay with the transom, we'll do that.
Yeah, I prefer it the way it's shown here, and I don't understand what the objection to an 8-foot door in this area is. But as a compromise, we'll do a transom, but I also agree with Tom that it breaks up the lines of the door and the window.
Well, you may
We
wanna
cannot
check
find a
your-
window that has a window glass unless we go full custom made windows, which we're not going to do. We just can't find a window that has that same line at the top.
Well, we've already turned you down once for an 8-foot door. And if you look through your notes, it's got to be in there, Marv. And I can't tell you which house it was, but maybe.
think it
Gus
was-
is- Maybe Joan, do you know which one it was?
I think it was the one next door.
I think so too.
It was on the, because I remember there was one on the side over, I don't have those drawings beside me, but I think it was the one right next door to this one even. I remember on the south side, there was one and on the front, under the porch.
And I think our decision was because there isn't any 8-foot doors in historic houses around that neighborhood. 7 foot's even pushing it.
Okay, we'll do a transom.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep consistent because we told the people the other night they couldn't have an 8-foot door.
And the materials, the exterior materials on the west elevation, Tom?
Yeah, horizontal lap siding, hardy board, and then the vertical board and batten.
Okay, and the hardy board, is that the usual exposures?
Yep, 4.5 inches.
Yeah. And the board and bat is board and bat? Or is it a cement board and bat?
Cement, yeah, the hardy board. Hardy cement.
Okay, and what is door
E6,
D6?
is that 8?
That'll probably be either probably a site built door, but a hardy, it's kind of like just a continuation of the siding on that one.
What's the height?
Pardon me?
What is the height of that door?
D6 looks like a 7 foot.
Is that a real door?
6'8". It's just a barn door is what we have. That's just an outdoor shed, basically.
Okay, I was gonna say, it looks like a shed. I didn't know if you were going for that.
That one's a 6'8" door.
Okay. And the facing on all your foundations is the same stone?
Yeah, so I'm trying to find my zoom back out button.
It'll be the same stone base that we're using on lot 8.
Okay. all the window trims and everything look good.
You have a flat skylight, make sure that the trim matches is non-reflective, flashing around it and the window itself.
Okay,
W12.
okay.
And the roof material is the composite, is the shingle, 50-year
Yep.
architectural. Okay. And I see the exterior fixtures even look like full cutoff fixtures.
They are. We're sourcing these ourselves. As you may know, lot 7 was, lot 6 was a build to suit. We're buying all of our fixtures from probably the highest quality supply house in Denver, QED, and they are all going to be, they're certified for exactly what you want.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think have sort of finally resolved lot 6 too,
Good.
little by little, light by light.
Okay.
And the little trims in the dormers,
Yeah,
and what is this little trim piece?
Just a decorative trim up there, a lot like we did on, I think that was lot 4. We also did just a variation on a theme, I guess, to get some interest up there at the gable. Be different. Lot 8, we did shingles up under the gable. And so that's what that is. That's that is.
They actually stick out. They're hanging under the front edge of the gable.
Yeah, it would be held off the wall away. It's probably,
Yeah.
2/3 away from the wall, 1/3 away back from the fascia. So it wouldn't be right up front there, but it'd be.
Yeah. Kind of cute. Well, shall we begin, folks? And if a question comes up, we can always address it, but I think we're pretty good. Okay, so we're book 2.
Page 9.
Trying to get there.
Well, under mass and size on A, it says that new construction appears similar in mass and size to historic districts found in the character area.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that we have recognized, there was time a few years back when we did actually a mass study of this particular group of blocks, and yes, your historic buildings tend to run in the neighborhood of 15 to 1,600 square feet, but we also recognize that our more modern homes run larger. Lots of Georgetown's historic homes were built at what I would call 3/4 scale. And actually that's true because some of them are built off of old plans. You could send away for a house plan in the 1880s and you got a house plan and they built them slightly smaller than the house plans. The most well-known of that one is the Maxwell House, which is literally a 3/4 size house off of a set of Downing, Andrew Downing house plans. And we no longer want to live in 3/4 size houses. So I think what we really try to do is make it similar to these structures that are in its immediate area. So in A, I would say under mass and size that it's A3. We're trying to break up the massing of larger buildings into components that reflect a traditional size.
I think we could go with B1 as well, that we're, we're within 5 feet of the average height for the surrounding houses.
Yeah, not the historic structures, but the surrounding houses.
Yeah.
And actually see the facades appear similar in dimension to those seen historically. And yes, the building front tends to be, there tends to be a narrowness in a building front, and that's there.
And probably page 10, right?
Yep.
Section 2A, use building forms similar to those found traditionally. Probably A1, vertical oriented rectangular shapes are typical and encouraged. 2.
And now, I don't think we can put 2 on this because we have a very complicated form.
Okay.
But I think we can go to B.
Okay, use traditional roof forms.
Mhm.
B1, sloping roof forms such as gables, hips, and shed. B4. Orient ridge lines parallel with the floor planes, perpendicular to the street. I'm not sure if we can use D.
What's the pitch of that roof, Tom?
Yeah, that it is it's a 912.
Yeah, it's a good pitch. So we can do B2.
Window W5 next to the left of the front door. Why is that set higher than all the other openings on that front elevation?
There's actually a landing. You come in the door, there's a couple steps right here. So there's a landing there. So to put it at a comfortable height when you're on that landing.
Why is there a landing?
There's stairs? Or is there just a little step up?
I just looked at the,
There's a stairwell.
Yeah, it's just the way to get the stairs to work. So we have enough room to headroom at the top of the stairs. We had to, the stairs couldn't continue all the way down or there wouldn't have been enough room for a landing by code. So we put a little landing in the corner and put 2 steps down.
So Tom, to maybe make it clear in your explanation, when you come in the front door, turn left, there's just a step or 2 up to a landing, and then you turn 90 degrees to the right to go up your stairway.
Yeah.
But did you say that you're stepping up on the porch itself?
We're talking interior to the house, ma'am.
So you come in the porch, if you can see on my screen your porch, come in the front door, 2 steps up, the landings. This is the landing I was talking about, and that's the W5 window you're talking about.
Okay, how about page 11?
Okay.
Building setbacks. We could probably use A, maintain alignment of building fronts along the street, which it lines up with the rest of the houses or the house next door. And probably A1, setback should fall within the established range. And then I skipped the 42 unless somebody else has something in between.
Where'd you skip to?
Page 42.
Mhm. Okay.
Section. No, that's not right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's actually no vegetation left on this lot, is there?
Not really.
Not really, yeah.
There's a small bush up by the fire hydrant, I think, that is again.
It was very scrubby stuff that was ugly, so we
Yeah.
took it out,
Yeah,
and there
yeah.
will be
That's
some,
right.
there'll be vegetation put back in that's appropriate and lower water consumption type vegetation.
Skip 42. There's nothing there.
How about the drainage? How are we handling drainage down through there? So you're not, I mean, you come right down to a wall between the house and the house below?
It's diverted. I mean, it's, it'll be diverted to slope towards the sides, and we've got a drainage easement on, between the houses on lot 4, lot 5. So there's a great, grading and, utility and drainage easement
Ah, okay.
between here and so that, we'll slope the grade just to,
So there is an outlet.
yes, yeah, there'll be a spot for
I think
water.
we actually had that whole block, that whole area site, the drainage plan at one point. Seems like I recall getting that for how all these were going to be, kind of handled.
Yeah, that was, I think, all part of the main, the subdivision requirements too. If I wasn't involved so much in that, but yeah, that grading and drainage, obviously a little bit different once with the development on here, but the general drainage is based on that subdivision plat too.
So let me ask this question. On page 43 about views, site plans for new construction should include consideration of retaining view opportunities for future projects. So basically, if you're building a house that's 2 feet higher than everything else in the neighborhood, then we're actually confirming that the height of your house can set the standard for any other house that gets built in that area.
No, it's not
No.
2 feet taller than anything else. It's relatively 2 feet taller than the house next door because it's higher up on the hill.
But you see the hill on the other side goes even higher than that. So there could be houses that appear higher going up the hill, because they're, it depends on how much development happens on the mine dump that's across the street. And yes, this does sort of eliminate the view out of the little house, the historic house that's up above.
And that house does sit, it's at least 15 feet, 16 feet above Biddle Street is where,
Yes, yes.
There's quite a hike up to that front door, so.
Yeah, the house that'll have the view block would be the one was it the Oaks house or what, the one we reviewed last week?
Yeah. Well, but they're higher up too, right?
Yes, they are
They'll
higher.
be up above this one.
Mhm.
No, they're not. They're probably about the same elevation as lot 8.
They're about the same. It's farther north though.
Okay. Well, are we doing anything on 43 then?
We could do site drainage. It'd be 3A, drainage should not adversely affect the adjacent properties.
Okay.
And I assume that your drainage system is natural. It's not a concrete gutter going down through there,
Yeah, it's all just
rock and
Rock.
Yeah, rock, dirt.
Dirt, yeah,
Then
okay,
we should use we should use C.
yes,
C is develop drainage system as landscape amenities such as planted swales or rock beds, so 3C. And then go down to number 4 on the same page, preserve views, 4A. Then we're on page 44.
B,
Bees and boy.
yep, a project should be designed to provide an attractive street edge. And C, orient the building parallel to its lot lines. And D, orient the primary entrance of the building towards the street. And D1 and D2 and D3.
Page 45, 6. A, maintain a pattern alignment for building fronts. And probably A1. And probably C, decks and balconies and porches should not significantly encroach in the front and side yard setbacks, which just doesn't. And on page 46, Tom, there's no sidewalks, are there, or are there any?
Yeah, right.
Just a double check.
The small walk up to the front, from the edge of the road or property line up to the porch. So it's not a sidewalk, but a
Oh,
walk.
it's a walkway. It's
Walkway.
It's an interior walkway.
walkway as opposed to a sidewalk.
How about 7B? B1, building entrances should be clearly identified.
Mhm.
And B2, landscaping identifies pedestrian ways. I mean, that's kind of out there.
No, but provides a separation between automobiles, yes, a little
B2,
landscaping to keep your edge off the street.
that takes us into landscaping on page 48.
Are plantings planned?
Yes, we'll be working in conjunction with the buyer of the house on that.
So do we need to approve the landscape design?
Actually, we asked to see a landscape plan and they have one. On their plot plan is also a landscape plan.
Right.
Okay. So this represents what it is going to be.
Without specifying the specific planting material, it's very close.
Okay.
We do want to soften the view of each of these houses, whether it's this one or any of them, with landscape plantings, no grass, no heavy water consumption kind of stuff.
Mhm.
On 48, we could probably do C1. Landscaping things that are simple and subdued in character are encouraged. D, use plant materials that are adapted to the Georgetown climate. And
no
D1,
extensive use of exotic plants.
No palm trees.
D1 use native trees and shrubs and wildflowers.
And then on page 49, you have maintaining a landscape edging along the edge of the site. I think that that's part of what this landscape plan does, is it gives edge to the site, particularly to the front. And then G, define interior walkways. You use the appropriate materials for interior walkways, flagstone, brick, gravel, or the aggregate concrete. And I think you said you were using the aggregate concrete. Is that correct?
That's correct. I hope you're satisfied with what the driveway and sidewalk on lot 6 is. We spent a lot of time trying to come up with the right thing, and I think it's the right thing.
Yeah, I think it works.
How about page 50, retaining walls? Unless somebody's got something else.
The patio is stamped concrete.
Yeah, we've got that listed as that. That was one that I think Marv brought up too in a previous review, that it basically looks like a finished flagstone. I think we were talking about getting a sample of that before that gets.
Yeah, because what I says is the appropriate patio materials set in sand include flagstone, brick, and stone, and materials set in concrete are inappropriate. And in general, concrete patios have been. However, there is a provision that we would look at new materials always, and they're developing better things. And so it would really be good to see. Nobody's going to see that patio except the owner.
Right, but I think it's a great test case, because if it comes out well, I think it could be
Yeah.
If I could just interject here, when we talked about lot 5, I think my comment was that we were going to attempt to model very closely to what is on the Atchison house, Sandra Dallas, Bob Atchison's patio. It's concrete, but it looks very, very close to the Georgetown red flagstone. And that's what so you'll see that done and completed before we would be able to pour at this house.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I think they have developed this, when these guidelines were written, we were trying to avoid flat concrete patios.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think in these lots up there too, given the terrain and the runoff propensity, keeping other kinds of materials in a level patio may become an issue too, with water runoff and stuff, so.
But so it's going to be on the one on lot 5, Marvin, is going to have.
Yes, there is a smaller patio in the front, the southwest corner of lot 5, in the front of the house. And so we want to make that, look very, very appropriate.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yep.
Oh, okay, right in there. All right. Yeah. So we'll get a chance to look. Good.
Okay, before you move on, page 49, G is in God. What was?
G and G1?
G and G1 for the walkways.
Okay, thanks.
And then I.
And then I. For the patio.
I'm going to put I1 since it says we may consider other materials on a case by case.
Yep.
Okay. 50 retaining walls.
How tall is that retaining wall that separates that house from the house below?
4 feet.
And is it rock?
Yeah, it'll be stacked boulders.
You have a few.
Yeah, there's a few. The steep site So there's a lot of grade manipulation out there for sure. So we're just trying to get enough, get it low enough for this house that's kind of dug into the hillside on the back, and then, be able to get grade up high enough to not be just a.
And still have your drainage coming down in between the two of them there.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see there's still, this is still higher than that wall. So I mean, it's very difficult to model that up specifically, but call this like the high point, and there'll be some, the grade will slope and we'll create a swale and a spot for it to get through, the retaining wall to come down the drainage, in a big gully washer. Most of this, like Marv mentioned, I'll be in, it'll still be a natural grade. So it's, most of that's just gonna be absorbed. I wouldn't expect a bunch of runoff per se. You have to be a big downpour, but which could happen. But yeah, it'll grade out.
What happened to the giant rock?
Oh no, where that one moved to.
It's sitting on the lower part of lot 6.
Oh, okay. It was a gift, huh? All right, the retaining walls, maintain the historic, well, I love to maintain the historic height of retaining walls. I've got one that's 15 feet in my yard.
Yeah, let's don't do that.
Over it though, didn't it?
How about D? For new retaining walls, use material similar to those seen historically.
Yeah.
Then D1, natural rock or stone should be used for new retaining walls. And then E, minimize the height of a new retaining wall. Limit height to less than 4 feet. So that's E and E1.
And there are no fences, is that correct?
Correct.
And there is no sidewalk.
Correct.
That would take us to page 54 in lights.
You'd probably do 5A, exterior lights should be simple in character and low density, or low intensity, I'm sorry. And A1, the design of the fixture should be simple in form and detail.
And B,
Minimize the visual impacts of site and architectural lighting.
mhm.
C,
Yep, C, prevent glare onto adjacent properties by using shielded.
A lot of these actually are the dark sky rules.
Mhm.
Yeah. How about page 55?
A. You're not parking in the front yard.
And probably B, a garage should not dominate the street scene, which it doesn't.
And it
D,
is-
when a garage door, when the garage is attached, it shouldn't minimize the front of the building. And probably A1, the garage door should be designed to minimize the apparent width of the opening.
What kind of doors go in these garage doors?
They're paint grade, metal clad insulated doors. We're ordering all paint grades so we can match the body of the house.
Okay,
And 56, talking about driveways, use paving material that will minimize the impact of the driveway will have on a streetscape. And E1, exposed aggregate, concrete, gravel, brick, or chip and seal are appropriate.
and you're using the aggregate on the driveway.
There will be I think it's about a 20-foot or 22-foot pad out from the garage door. And that would take us, yeah, I think that means we're using concrete, but there could be some rotomill or gravel, not rotomill, gravel at the far street end.
But the concrete you're using is our agreed upon.
Yes, it'll be the same thing that we use as exposed aggregate colored concrete that we used on lot 6.
Okay.
Okay, that takes us to page 58, 9, utilities. You could probably go with A, minimize the visual impacts of utilities and service equipment.
And A6,
Right.
Matte finish.
Mhm.
paint those vents.
Is there any solar going on in this development?
No. Other than a lot of south and west windows.
Mhm.
Does anybody have anything before page 76?
Um,
And windows,
Yeah.
doors. Windows and doors, on page 68.
we also have just the architectural character, which is 64. And it's C, new interpretations of traditional building styles are encouraged. A new designs, and C1, the new design that draws upon the fundamental similarities among historic buildings in the community without copying them is preferred.
Okay.
And use B1, use ornamental details with constraint.
Yeah. C3, applying highly ornamental details is appropriate.
No,
No.
that not, is
Isn't it?
inappropriate.
It's inappropriate.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering about those curved details that are under each one of the gables there.
Oh, I don't think that's excessive.
Okay.
We're talking about all little gingerbready and cutesy and fancy pants.
Oh, yeah. Putting funny little trims on all of your windows and those kinds of things. And then we have page 67, which is the directional emphasis. And A is building should have a vertical emphasis.
Mhm.
And B, windows and doors should reinforce the vertical emphasis of a building. And on page 67 is roofs. The typical roof shapes are gabled, hipped, and shed. And gables are the most frequent, and the gable end is oriented towards the street. That's just under 5 in general paragraph. And 68 has the skylight. Flats 68C1, section 5, still on roofs. C1, flat skylights mounted flush with the roof may be considered.
And C5, skylight flashing trim should be non-reflective.
Page 69. C.
69 what?
C. Original door and window proportions.
Or I
Right.
think it's more. Yeah. That- D,
So
and
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
All of the windows in the front are level, except for that one on the staircase. Do we need to make that window seem more intentional? Perhaps by making it smaller? As opposed to looking at the front of that house and saying, wow, why is that window 2, 6 or 8, 10 or 10 inches higher than the other windows that are in the front of the house? I mean, can it be a different type of window?
You know, that part of the front is sort of set back a little, like there's the door and then that window. So it kind of reads to me as a different part of the front, maybe. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't think it's weird looking.
Well, I can see where Betsy's coming from. In fact, the house that I fixed up on Tower Street where the Quilted Pearl is, that had a window door set up very much like this, where the window was higher than the door. And in the assessment done by the, whoever did the assessment back in the 60s, that was a detractor from the character of the house. That's why we were allowed to go ahead and actually take that window out and bring it down to a size that was more proportional. So that just, from personal experience, that's just a side comment.
Was that your house where the door was in the closet, Bob?
Yes. Yes, we were allowed to move the door, and we also could make the window smaller,
Okay.
smaller than the door.
Just so you know, stranger things have happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Does anybody have a feeling about that window? I don't notice it.
No,
The fact that it is off to the side of the entrance, it's not as prominent.
Yeah. Well, I think we all are we realize when we look at a house, like from a view, and there's a window at an odd place, we realize it's probably over a stairwell or something like that. I mean, we all kind of.
Well, if you look at it from the other, on the other, around the corner, there's another window at the same height.
Yeah, on the side, on the corner. Yeah.
The wall. Yeah, I guess it's the south elevation.
the southeast view.
Yeah.
So from the inside of the house, it might look a bit odd if you moved it.
Yep.
You had one lower than the other. So it's kind of half a dozen one, six of another.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting that. I was just suggesting that maybe if it was a smaller window, it might look like it was more intentional. But I agree with you that the fact that it lines up with the window on right next to it, turning the corner, probably makes it appropriate.
Okay. So we're on 69. I have C and D.
And on 70, it continues with windows, and under I, it says new openings should be similar in size. All buildings which face the street, I1, all buildings which face the street should have a well-defined front and entrance. And I2, the general rule for a window opening is that the height should be twice the dimension of the width. And I3, windows should be simple in shape, arrangement, and detail.
J.
guy who did our window study thinks they should even be more vertical.
They should be what,
They
Cindy?
should even be more vertical looking,
Hmm.
but I think these are fine. Then I moved to 70, to porches and decks and patios.
So on the southeast version, on the front of the house, there's 3 pillars. But on the northeast version, there's only 2. But, oh, I see, there's a third one. So there's 3 across, is that right? On the northeast view?
For the supports for the roof here,
Yep, yep.
I've got, looks like 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
The front edge.
Okay, on page 72, under porches and awnings and decks and patios, it's at D, the use of a porch on any new residential building is strongly encouraged. And F, it addresses patio materials. It says that it's, we're back to the flagstone, brick and stone. But F1, other materials may be considered on a case-by-case basis, and we've sort of done that.
And do we care about a railing on that front porch between the pillars?
No.
Okay.
And G on page 72, decks and balconies may be appropriate. And it says for 3, balconies are appropriate if the design is incorporated into the design of the building. Which it is.
How about page 73? Are we ready?
Yes.
This is building foundations. And I think we go down to B, in new construction, a clear distinction between foundation and wall materials should be presented. In C, exposed foundation walls on new construction should be stone face, exposed aggregate, concrete or stucco. In C1, foundation should have a minimum of 6 inches and a maximum of 12 inches of exposure of plain concrete.
What's the chimney covered with?
Got stone on that we mentioned. Is
that natural stone?
Yeah, it'll be the same. That would be around the base of the building.
It's natural. We're not using any concrete stone.
Good. Good. Then we're on page 74, chimneys and stovepipes.
There's not much there.
Nope. It is that if you've got a stovepipe, it should have a dark, finish once again. But it certainly doesn't tell us about putting up new chimneys, does it? That's a thing to be fixed.
Tom, we've been asking people when they, like around that chimney, if you're doing any flashing, it shouldn't match the color of the roof. Just some kind of dark flashing.
Okay.
Okay, 76.
Anything on page 74?
No, not really.
No. 74, I had 9, just the heading about, yeah, well, there's nothing really specific in it.
Yeah, D,
Yeah.
but
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
you know, the siding stuff that just does not address new buildings.
No, you have to go to 81. New building materials.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah,
Okay, what do we got? Section 5.
section 5, yes.
You know, we should probably put C in there when it talks about masonry. Because that would cover the chimney. Masonry should appear similar to that used historically in texture and color. Since they're using natural stone.
Okay, are we using A here?
We don't
Yeah,
use,
but we're using the A in the sense of now we're basically
Siding.
using D, that newer synthetic may be considered if they appear similar in character and detailing to traditional materials. And the traditional materials are described in A, but we're really using D. And we use it quite. D2, details of synthetic siding should match that of traditional wood siding. The lap dimensions should be similar to that. And, you know, and that's what they're doing.
Okay.
And physical examples should be provided, but we have seen hardy board enough to know what it looks like.
then page 82, roof materials. C, roof material, new building should appear similar to those used.
We've
course, we
changed
got-
C1.
C1 is instead of 30-year, it says 50-year. Or greater composite shingles, muted colors.
And are you putting gutters on?
Yes, wherever it's appropriate, there'll be gutters. I'll just make a comment on the roofing material. Just in the last few days, we've looked at all the houses and selected a very compatible shingle, but not all of them will be precisely the same shingle.
Good.
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 Yeah. As long as it's 50-year.
Yes, it is definitely.
Gutters, page 83. Gutters and downspouts are appropriate if painted to match the structure. Are you going to use half rounds or are you just going to use standard?
Just the standard is what we've got laid out on these.
Since it's a new structure, I think you could do that.
As long as they're painted.
Yep.
And that's it, folks.
No,
That's
page
it.
83, what?
E.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes. Gutters and downspouts are appropriate if painted to match the structure.
T.
E is an effort.
Because you're putting it
All
out.
right. All right. We've got it there.
Oh. Is this house purchased already by someone?
It's under contract.
Mm.
Okay, does anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the application for this unknown address house on Biddle Street, Lot 7, using the guidelines stated. And I don't think we have any conditions, do we?
Just the 7-foot doors with transom.
Okay.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, we have some minutes.
Could we do
Cindy,
the other things really
do
quickly?
you want to do the field trip first?
Yes, just,
Okay.
what day did we do that?
Um,
Bob, do you remember?
I don't, but I could probably find out.
Where did you go?
I was at the dentist.
up to
we-
Middle Street to the 2 sites from the last time.
We went to visit the sites at the far end of Biddle Street,
Not Middle Street,
what?
not Middle Street.
Not Biddle Street, the not Biddle Street end of Biddle Street, that were on the conceptual review from the previous minutes, as we indicated we would. Joan was there, Bob was there, and I was there, and the applicants with their geotech folks and their architects were also there, as were neighboring property owners. It's a, you never make any decisions on a site. I think we recognize how difficult that site is. We made several suggestions about altering plans, but essentially it's up to them at this point to come back to the commission with a bit of a different concept than they came originally.
It was
We
January
did.
10th.
We did discuss the first house, just heading north, the first one on the right, was like, what, 2.5 stories? Like the front facade was quite tall and flat. And we discussed with them stepping back like the upper story so that it was not such a big, tall, flat facing. And was that not the architect, who was the girl? She was pretty excited about it. So they are regrouping to come back to us on that.
And the second item I put on was the fact that the Oaks, we tabled the application for Oaks for the house up by the Capital Prize mill site. We did all the sightings, but we tabled it. So I'd like the minutes to reflect that we have not yet heard back from the applicant, so that the item remains tabled.
Okay. All right.
Just so we keep,
Keep track of that, yeah. And I actually touched base with Jen about that today too, so she's keeping track of it.
we also have never heard back from the library, who keeps saying we're going to be under construction this summer.
That's really odd, huh? Okay, and so now we have some minutes from December 30th.
And I think the date on that was the 11th. Did we have that site visit?
Wasn't it Monday?
I couldn't tell you right now.
Either the 10th or the 11th.
Well, I know I couldn't be there because
It was right after the meeting, the DRC meeting. It was the early part of that next week.
I didn't write it down.
And then, does it matter? I actually went with Cindy and visited the site separately. I don't know if that matters.
Well, if you
You
had
didn't
anything
know where
about,
it was.
oh, yeah.
I said you didn't quite know where it was.
Unless you had something you wanted to share with all of us, you're allowed to do that.
No.
Okay. Let's get these minutes done and then we can.
The only thing I saw was on the second page, yeah, the second page, down under the block 55, lot 4. We had mentioned that the roof pitch, it says the roof pitch should be 3 or 4 by 12.
Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. I wrote it down, but I don't know what that means.
Well, I
Either
think
3 by
it should be a
12.
minimum of like a 612 or 812 or so. I know we didn't say 3 or 4 by 12.
Okay, you gotta just say what you want me to write.
I think we meant either 312 or 412.
No, we
No.
would never do a roof like that.
There's too shallow a pitch on it.
Oh, okay.
I think we said it should be minimum maybe of 612.
Yes, a minimum of 612. And you can do it a 6 and a slash and 12.
6 dash?
No,
Slash.
no.
Oh, slash, okay. 6/12.
Yeah.
Should be minimum 6/12.
Okay, thank you.
And the bullet that's 2 under that, windows that
Yeah.
are side by side should be slightly separated.
Yeah. Well, they had double windows, two windows side by side, and we suggested a space between them. So they didn't look like a square window. It looked like 2 vertical windows.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, all right. I just wondered about the sligely
You
separated.
have to know what we were talking about.
It's vague.
You had to be there.
Make it like this.
Yeah, exactly. Shingle roofing, it needs to be 50 a year. I don't know. Is that also the 140?
Yeah, the width, I
Yes,
think.
that's a
is-
50-year.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to add 50 year? I don't know that you said it at the time.
If it's the same thing, we've been telling everyone 50 year. and
50
that's-
year, but at
that's
that
the reason.
particular time you told them 140-mile-per-hour wind.
I think that was kind of the discussion, but they got the picture.
Okay.
Yeah, here's our other 8-foot door.
Um, The last page. After the end of Oaks, after the end of all of the citations on Oaks, members requested a topographical rendering. Essentially, we want a topo map.
So change the word rendering to map.
Because it makes it clearer.
Okay.
We requested revised plans, a topo map and examples of the materials. So we also requested revised plans.
And okay. And real quick on that roof pitch, that's 6/12 inches, right?
No,
No,
that's
that's just a thing. Okay.
it means you're going up 6 inches in every
6 by
12.
12. Like, okay. All right.
Means it gets steeper the bigger the number you get.
Doesn't make any difference as long as the units are the same.
Okay. All right. Okay. And revised plans.
Under real architecture, it sounds like we had no opinion. And I think we should add a sentence that said the members that, because we looked at the unit plans and we said, that, you know, in general, they were headed in the right direction. You know, we expressed.
We're happy with what they've done so far.
Yeah. We were pleased.
All right. I'm not going to use the word pleasure in minutes.
Put a big happy face there. How
I'll
about-
think of
Yeah, just use a happy face.
an emoji. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. I'll think of another word.
Bob, I saw a thing where somebody had used the smiley face on like a little business email or something, and the person has actually emailed back and said, it's not very professional to use an emoji in your email. So they emailed back the unhappy one.
See?
Oh, I
Yeah.
think that's good.
Yeah.
Don't get too picky.
Yep.
I think though, Susan, you could say that the DRC in general concurred with the
There you are.
plans are, you know, the direction of the plans.
Good word.
But they're bringing amended plans to us or? more
They're
detailed?
bringing final
Mhm.
actual plans. All they had was a rendering. So
Okay.
they, you know,
He's, had a couple
in
of other
general, we
things.
concurred with the direction of
Yeah, I thought it actually was pretty nice.
it. It was a tiny little rendering. We have to remember those buildings are 32 feet tall.
Yeah.
They're not exactly small.
Whoa. Wow. And
Okay.
nothing can get built behind them, is that right?
Oh, no, that's right on the
It's
interstate
right on the highway.
thing. Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Everybody got a motion for me?
Move that we accept or approve the minutes from the December 30th. That doesn't sound right.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
I'll second it, Martin.
With the changes as noted.
Okay. Who's second?
Mark.
Mark?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Let's,
Do we want to say anything about the discussion with the selectmen about Bob Hamilton's?
Oh, that's true.
Actually, I had an email from Stephen. The town attorney has written up the ordinance for us, and they were going to give that to us for the next meeting. Did you want to tell us anything about it, Bob?
Just that we had a discussion with the selectmen earlier this week regarding DRC follow through all the way through occupancy permit for major projects. Basically, we would have a review cycle at the prior to issuing a permit, a building permit. We would do a DRC review prior to an occupancy permit, or at the end of, when the project is complete and they get their final inspections by Safe Built, we would do a DRC review at that time. And then Gerald brought up a great point that would be put in the code as well in some fashion, that the requirements outlined by DRC are into perpetuity. I mean, they need to maintain those requirements going down the line. So I thought that was a great perspective.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of.
Attorney speak. Okay, great. So we'll have that for the next meeting to look over.
Yeah, well, and then from that, it'll get to the Board of Selectmen, and they'll put it in the town code.
Okay. I was going to ask you, did we ever discuss with them about like a completion bond for some of these things? Like if they haven't gotten their landscaping and that type of stuff done, and then are we going to let them get this?
That didn't come up.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Well, one last, the conference is from the 7th to 9th. It's before our next meeting. So I hope a couple of folks will at least tune in if you're
Yes,
not
yes.
showing up. And I think that both Betsy and I will be actually down there for
Oh,
maybe a day, maybe a little more.
Okay,
So,
great.
because it checks the box that keeps us certified.
Oh, yeah. Does any of our online participation count?
Oh, all of it does.
Okay, because last time I know we wrote up a little
Yeah,
synopsis
no,
or something.
all of any online thing you've listened to or gotten into counts just as much. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, Bob?
Kind of give everybody a heads up. Hopefully, at the next DRC meeting, we will have an agenda item to discuss changes to Strauss Park. A project that I have been working on since we looked at what Strauss Park was going to cost.
Yeah.
I don't think we could afford it, so there's been a select committee that involves myself. Cindy is working on the finance end. Mark is kind of a silent partner, so we won't even mention him. But there's representation from building promotions and Parks and Recreation, and a couple of other, Dwayne Gazinski from Planning Commission as well. We have all of the right people involved. We're going through looking at an alternate design for the park, changing some materials to bring the cost for phase one, or to do the shelter part, which is the big part of it, into something we can afford. And I'm hoping next week that we'll get a recommendation out of building, out of the business promotions and out of the Parks and Recreation group, a formalized, this is what we want to do. And then I would bring that to the DRC, recuse myself from any action, and hopefully we get DRC approval. And then at the following, either first or second, maybe second or, either the last meeting in February or the first in March, we go to the Board of Selectmen. That's kind of what we're shooting for. Cindy, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, I would add that Bob Hamilton has done an amazing thing. What he did was create a commission of a little committee of the chairman of every commission this town has. And there could be nothing politically better that you could possibly have done, because he got them all in a beer hall together with him.
Oh, excellent.
I figured that was a stroke of just
that we owe to
magnificent political talent there. The other fun,
Bob Connell, who came up with that, and it worked fine. That got everybody there.
yes, well, but it was the chair of every commission. That's extremely helpful when you're trying to get an idea across in this town, is to do exactly that. The other thing is that part of this came about because the original estimate for the Strauss Park project was $1,093,000.
Wow.
Holy.
It was all that drainage and stuff, right?
Yeah, it was a severe sticker shock, and it's not going to be inexpensive to do it well, but we're down to about a quarter of that to at least get ourselves well started.
Great.
Wow.
Okay, well, thank you. Good job, Bob.
Everybody.
He's done amazing things.
We'll get a gold star for Bob.
Yes.
All right, thanks everybody.
Christmas tree up.
I'm all for it.
One of these days, it's going to come down.
Yeah, you know what? Enjoy it, right?
That's an artificial tree, so you unplug it, put it back in the bag, and put it in the basement.
Right.
It looks
I kept having different layers of lights go out this year. One would come back on, and then another one would go out.
Well,
Okay.
It's time to get a new tree.
Yeah, it definitely was. Okay, thanks everybody.
right.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.